From the Fantasy Armchair, it is the Fantasy TyRant. Hey there, fellow fantasy football freaks. It's me, the Ty Guy, the Fantasy TyRant, here to do what I do to help you make the moves to get to the playoffs. This is when shit gets serious, folks. Time to cut the mamby-pamby crap and get focused. Bold moves are what's going to help you get where you need to go. And if you need to make some, I can help you. And seeing as most of you have a trade deadline coming up, if your trade deadline's already come and gone, I'm sorry, your league's dildos. I'll let you know what deals you can pull off to make that mad money. But before I start, let's remember, we've got a goal this month, 100 subscribers, and right now, we're crushing it. The original goal was 100 subscribers in this month, but I'll tell you what, you get me there by the end of the week, and you keep my likes at above 10%, so you know if this video has like 200 views, we need like 20 likes. Come on, it's not the hardest math ever. Then I'll do something real special for you guys next week. Trust me, you're gonna like it. So if you see that subscriber number is not at 100 and you haven't subscribed yet, why don't you go ahead and do so. Encourage your friends to do so as well. Get me to that 100 and you're gonna like what you see. Besides, if you hit subscribe and the bell, then you'll never miss one of my videos and you won't miss your chance to get to the playoffs. Thanks a lot, everyone, for your support and your feedback and everything. I appreciate it. If you have comments or questions, go ahead and leave them below. I'd be happy to read them. Got something to say? Need some help? Or you just want to call me a dipshit? I don't care. That's your forum. Just say what you want. So enough of that shit. Let's do this. Buy and sell. Welcome, everyone, to Buy and Sell!
Buy.
Oh, that's right, it's buy and sell, but it's the last buy and sell year. That's right, with all those trade deadlines looming, this is gonna be it. Okay, folks? So here we go. But stay tuned, because by the end of the show, I'll let you know exactly what's gonna replace this segment. But let's move on with my QB buy of the week, Russell Wilson. Now, I'm not saying he's much of a buy low, because I don't know how low you can really buy him right now, but he's at his lowest point of the season, so it's time to pounce on him now. Coming off his worst week of the season, some dumbasses might be looking to let him go. Offer up a lesser QB1 like Watson, or maybe Jackson coming off a good week. Pair him with a bench piece of yours that might give the other owner a little incentive, like maybe it's a handcuff that they need, something like that. Yeah, if you add in the running back handcuff, that'll definitely get the job done. Either way, it's worth a shot. Like I say, you never know unless you try. Other QBs I'm buying this week. Carson Wentz came off a bad week. A really bad week. Sometimes his erratic play leads to an ugly 20-plus fantasy point game, but other times his willy-nilly bullshit craps out. This was a crap-out week for Carson, but his schedule going forward has some potential for Wentz's good crazy to come out. Games against Cleveland and Seattle make him worth a buy if you're streaming QBs because of injury or because you're a hardcore son of a bitch. Get him for next to nothing. Matt Ryan's coming off a bye and maybe his fantasy owner fell in love with another QB and he's ready to leave Matty Ice in the dust. What they aren't considering is his schedule coming off the bye. Saints, Raiders, Saints again, Chargers. Don't do this if you're looking for a starting QB in the playoffs though, because he's got Tampa Bay and KC in weeks 15 and 16. And while they can be had, Matt Ryan's not one to do it. Get him for a high-end QB 2 straight across, or combine some bench players in a 2-for-1. Just make sure that you have a plan in place for the playoffs. My quarterback sell of the week is Deshaun Watson. No, this isn't a stupid overreaction to bad play in a windy game. This is a reaction to his schedule going forward being absolutely gross. I said it last week, and I warned you to sell him before the Jacksonville game. Now, he isn't worth as much as he was before, but I bet you could still get an owner to bite on his earlier production. Maybe if you pair him with a wide receiver 2 or running back 2, you might be able to get Russell Wilson out of the deal. Whatever you do, sell Watson before his market goes bare. Other QBs I'm selling, Big Ben will likely have a good week this week, but after that, he's got Baltimore and then Washington and the Colts in the championship game. That sounds like murder. Sell high on plus matchups like this week and against Buffalo and Cincy in the earlier stages of the fantasy playoffs, especially if Big Ben's not your main QB. Get an RB2 or a wide receiver 2 to bolster your team for a playoff push. Ryan Tannehill has one juicy matchup left in Week 14 against the Jags that he tore apart in Week 2. Other than that, you better proceed with caution, because he didn't do squat against the Colts, and he's got him again in a brutal matchup after this week in Baltimore. That's not going to help you get in the fantasy playoffs, and if you've been riding Tannehill, you're probably needing wins now. Pair him with an RB2 or wide receiver 2 and get a stud at one of these positions in a 2-for-1. Just play the matchups for the rest of the season. I like Jameis Winston this week. Having that stud running back while you stream lesser quarterbacks with better matchups will prove to be more productive than holding on to Tannehill, trust me. On the running backs I want to buy, give me all the Derrick Henry you got. Now I had him in this spot on the segment last week, but I had a feeling he'd be here this week too. Bad matchups are coming up, sure, but from week 13 on, he's got it real sweet. Cleveland, Jacksonville, Detroit, and Green Bay in the championship game. And Henry can put up good games in otherwise difficult matchups. He's on the cusp of being matchup proof, I'd say, but don't let his owners in on that. Emphasize the bad matchups and the low production as of late, and get this stud in your stable today. Other running backs I want to buy this week, CMC owners might be fed up thinking he's injury prone. This is your chance to get him. You saw what he did when he came back for one game. This dude don't rest. Try offering a low-end RB2 straight across, or add in a piece from your bench if you need to. Get the job done. Don't think they'll go for it? I've made it happen. Chase Edmonds hasn't put it together since becoming the lead guy, and now Drake is there. That's exactly how you sell the trade to Edmonds owners. You might actually wait and see if Chase gets dropped. Otherwise, trade your bottom bench guy or two for him. You know I think Drake is trash. He fumbled his first game back, and hopefully Kingsbury will come to his senses and put him back behind Edmonds. He's the better back, and if they figure that out eventually, you got a solid RB2 on your hands for next to nothing. Go do it. As for the RBs I'm selling, how about Josh Jacobs? Yeah, that was a pretty bad call by me last week telling you to sit him. Made me look like some kind of hack in an armchair. Wait a minute! But this great performance in an otherwise season kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, don't it? He's been bad in bad matchups and bad in some good matchups too. Can't trust him because you can't trust his QB. The offensive production of the Raiders is impossible to predict, so you may as well sell Jacobs right now, coming off that monster game he just had. Pair him with the bench piece and go get Derrick Henry, or maybe go get CMC for him straight up. But sell him now. Other running backs I'm looking to sell, James Conner's been a bust this season. Or has he been? Production from earlier in the season and injuries to other running backs has kept him as a mid-level RB2. Pretty much what he was drafted to be. As the 15th ranked running back, really? Conner's the 15th ranked running back? Let's see here. Oh yeah. And D'Angelo Williams is the 16th ranked running back. The 17th ranked running back is actually that cat from the Ravens-Dolphins game a few years ago. And the 18th ranked running back is just someone's grandma. And the 19th ranked running back is Kenyon Drake. Whether you wait until this week's matchup with the Jags or next week before the Ravens, sell Conner now before his RB2 status gets revoked. And sell all Rams running backs if you can. And maybe you can only sell Henderson. Fine. But if you have him, do it. This is a jumbled up fuckaboo of a committee, and no one should want a part of that going into the playoffs. Don't even sell high, just sell. You might get something for Henderson. Maybe a low-end RB2 coming off a bad game, but that's the best you're going to get. You should have traded him at top value like I told you weeks ago. As for the other two, you may as well dump them. But try to get something for Henderson now if you can. Finally, we come to the pass catchers, and I want to buy all those Cowboys pass catchers that have gone so cheap by now. Because if they aren't on the waiver wire, you can get them for peanuts right now. Damn it, I said peanuts. Quit fucking with me on that. Andy Dalton's coming back. And no, he's no Dak Prescott. But he's also not the Nucci or Gilbert, so we'll take what we can get. You can probably get Gallup and Lamb for bottom of the bench pieces. And Amari Cooper for wide receiver 3 straight up. If you have the room, do it. But you'll have to buy now, because that door's gonna shut quick. Other pass catchers I'm buying, Keenan Allen you won't get for cheap, but you can get him right now. Coming off a bad matchup, you may be able to pair like a wide receiver 2 with a running back 3 or wide receiver 3, and get him for your playoff run. Just don't tell his owner about the delicious matchup slate he's got going forward into the playoffs. It may take a lot to get this done, but it'll be worth it to get Herbert's main man and maybe only man. Buy him while you can, even if you have to pay up a little. I'm already hearing fantasy owners freak out about A.J. Brown, and now's the time to get him cheap. Only the Colts pose a threat, but Matchups against the Falcons, Jets, Chargers, that'll make up for it. He'll have his good games and some bad games, but people tend to overreact to the bad ones and understate the good ones. I don't get it. A.J. Brown has been money most of the season. I don't see that changing. You can likely get Brown at his cheapest level right now. A wide receiver 3 coming off a great game like Jacoby Myers might do it. Even if you have to add a bench piece, you should get it done. A.J. Brown rocks. Get him on your squad. And at tight end, I want to buy Darren Waller. He hasn't had a big game since week 2, but his schedule coming up is pure gold. Only the Colts pose a threat, but matchups against the Falcons, Jets, Chargers, that'll make up for it. His numbers have been boring recently, which should make him easier to buy. Get Waller the baller now. As for pass catchers I want to sell, Juju's been the third wheel there for the Steelers lately, and I don't see that turning around anytime soon. Big Ben's preferring his young studs of Claypool and Johnson, so it's time to put old Juju out to pasture. His time is up. Yeah, I'm never gonna watch. So you better sell him before he takes a big drop.
Lula made baby boy. He look up at me. He said, "Hey, I can't feel my legs."
Okay, sorry. It was just supposed to be this. Sorry. Other pass catchers I'm looking to sell. Jacoby Myers has been making it happen on an offense that's unpredictable as a stunt man with dementia. 2 weeks in a row is enough to convince someone, right? You better hope so. Go get a low-end wide receiver 2 or pair him with a wide receiver 2 to get a stud. Something like that. Make it happen. Marvin Jones has been serviceable with Kenny Golladay out, but Kenny's coming back either this week or next, and Marvin will go back to flex production at best. If you hold on to him, you'll be steaming mad, especially since his schedule isn't great going forward. With matchups against the likes of Washington, Chicago, and the Bucs in the championship, no thanks. Unload Marvin Jones before he stinks up the joint. At tight end, it's time to sell Richard Rodgers. Goddard is back, Ertz is coming back. He had a nice run, kinda, but too many of you are still starting him and asking about starting him for me not to mention. Yeah, he's gonna disappear behind Ertz and Goddard. Not even sure if anyone will take him off your hands. You may have to just dump him, but try to sell him as a side piece to make another trade happen before you do. May as well. Well, we've come to the end of the last buy and show segment of the season. But before we go, I've got one last bargain basement player for you. And joining Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jonathan Taylor, it's gonna be Michael Thomas. He hasn't quite reacclimated to the offense since coming back from injury. I think he will eventually, right when Drew Brees needs him, and right when you need him for the fantasy playoffs. But if you're gonna get him, it has to be now. Offer up a wide receiver 3 straight up. I'd be surprised if someone held on to him. Maybe you can get him for Jacoby Myers with his good play of late. Hey, I'd do that. Do it now, though, before this clearance player flies off the rack. And this has been your Week 11 Buy and Sell. So that's it for the Buy and Sell shows. Next week, I'm actually going to be just doing 2 shows. On Monday, I'll have the Waiver Wire show, and then on Wednesday, you're getting the benches, bumps, and deep dives a day early. Hey, it's like a little Thanksgiving treat, right? And yeah, I'll have the players that are on the Thanksgiving slate, don't worry. Then after Thanksgiving weekend, I start a new segment, which I really haven't come up with a name yet for. I've thought of a lot of different things. It's kind of like a segment where I tell you what players, you want to either hold on to or they're ready to let go, It's been like keep or drop or hold or dump, but I figured that was too sophomoric even for me. Stash and dash, that was another thing I thought of. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like one of those or if you have one of your own, let me know. Hey, I might just name it after one of your suggestions. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, okay? Because if we get to 100 subscribers by Monday morning, next week, you'll get something real good. No, nothing like that, you sick freak. Don't forget to donate to men's health charities this month. And follow me on Twitter, @fantasy_TyRant. You never know what I might say to save your fantasy day. Benches, Bumps, and Deep Dives comes out Thursday. Until then, I'm out. Peace.